There are no non-immigrant visas available for refugees. If you apply for a non-immigrant visa but do not have credible plans to depart the United States after a temporary stay, your application will be refused. Why are we here? Well, here's the thing. We know that based on the most recent season of The Single Life 90 Day, episode 1, we found out that Natalie's mother is now finally in the United States of America. But this is what people want to know. How is this possible? And with that being said, I've sat here and I've done a little bit of research and just on find out how would it work, because we know that there are definitely different possibilities of how Natalie's mom has ended up in America. Now, those possibilities could come to the fact that there's a situation going on or has been going on with Russia and Ukraine. So asylum seeking has been a big thing with refugees, both here in the UK as well as the States and other countries who are willing to accommodate people from the Ukraine. But also on top of that, we know that Natalie has been married to Michael for 3 years, right? Until finally now he has decided all of a sudden to file for divorce. But also at the same time, we also know that Natalie's now in a position where she has a green card, but we also know that when it comes to Natalie and Michael, even though they are now filing for, or at least he's filing for divorce, he's still responsible for Natalie for at least, I believe, 10 years regardless of that, right? So this is where it gets very interesting to how Natalie's mother has now made it to the United States. And the reason why I guess this conversation is worth having is because a lot of people are commenting and asking this in the comment section of the most recent video that I did see. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out. But also at the same time, when it comes to 90 Day Fiancé, it seems to me as if once people make it to America, no cast member, from my recollection, ever ends up being deported. And it's weird because there's been ones that have come in and they've pretty much made it abundantly clear that they're here for nothing but the green card. Meanwhile, we've seen others struggle a lot, like Michael, to get into America, you know what I mean? But with that being said though, I wanted to start off with this one here, with this little statement here, because we know that right now when it comes to Natalie, even though she has a green card, you know, there's definitely a process. So this is the question that I wanted to ask first when I was obviously doing my researches on Google, okay? And obviously it was a question about asylum seekers. How does it work in the USA if you're from Ukraine? And it says here, a person may apply for asylum in the United States regardless of their country of origin or their current immigration status. All right, cool. In order to apply for the asylum protection, applicants must show they cannot return to their home country because they have a credible fear of persecution there. So let's talk about that. With Natalie, I think it's abundantly clear that she had every plan for a very long time to leave Ukraine and to come to America, or at least go to another country, right? So therefore, the chances of her ever wanting to return to Ukraine looked very slim. And if anything, if she ever had a reason to go back, it would have been her mother. But I feel like Natalie has also made it abundantly clear that her mom was going to follow her at some point. Which brings me to the mother. Does the mother ever have any plans to go back to Ukraine? Well, this is where I'm going to sit and tell you that I'm going to say no, because we know that she wants to be wherever her daughter is. Simple as that. Her daughter is pretty much her rock, her heart, everything. So now she's fine here. Boom, bam. So therefore, when it comes to this asylum situation here, could the mother have come to America based on some sort of asylum seeker, refuge type of situation? It is a possibility. So this is option number one of how maybe things could have gone down. Could have gone down of how she's now finding America. But also here, can Ukrainians apply for asylum in the US? Obtain an affirmative asylum application on form I-589. It must be filed within a year of entry in the US. You must not have sought refuge or settled in any other country before your arrival. So obviously this is a little bit more information to help us guys with exactly what is going on here and what we are dealing with, right? As we're trying to research how she's finally made it. Because here's the thing. The other thing that we have to put into place is that when it comes to Natalie and Michael has been a very big supporter of Natalie's mom throughout the whole situation that has gone down with Russia and Ukraine, okay? Which is absolutely phenomenal. But also at the same time, the thing that has been very odd is that Michael has not wanted, or at least has not pulled the plug on filing for divorce for 3 years, even though Natalie pretty much left him after what, a year, maybe even less than a year of her actually living with him. So the fact that she left him back then, why wait 2 more years until you finally file for it? And we saw on the most recent season, on the last season of The Single Life, that Mike was pretty much gone with Natalie. He was surpassed her, right? And also recently, we know that he's got a new girlfriend in his life. He's got a new partner in his life. So of course, there's always been signs that say that Mike had every reason to literally say, you know, I'm done with you, bye. But he didn't. So now we're in a position where Natalie finally got what she really wanted, and that is her green card. But when it comes to Natalie's green card, though, this is the question. Is she in the position where she could sponsor her mother to come to America? Because for her mother to come to America on a permanent basis, she's going to need a sponsor, point blank, period. And this is where it gets interesting. Now, from what I understand, I'm pretty sure you have to earn a certain wage before you can sponsor someone. And we know that Natalie isn't earning nothing. That's why she's literally on TV always begging men or begging Josh to take her in and pretty much buy a house and basically spoil the hell out of her. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to the financial side of things, yeah, Natalie, even if she has money, I don't see it being enough to be able to bring her mom to America, which therefore makes me wonder about Michael. Is Michael a part of this plan of sponsoring Natalie's mom? Is this why maybe he's taking his time to divorce her? I mean, look at it this way. All of a sudden, literally last week, we find out, or at least I found that, and I reported to you guys that Michael has finally decided to divorce Natalie. Okay, so we're thinking, all right, cool. It's about time he's done it. It's taken a bit too long, but damn, it's been a long time. But then, boom, all of a sudden, we now know that Natalie's mom is now in America. So I'm curious though if Michael has some sort of involvement, okay, when it comes to, Natalie's mom now being in America. Has he sponsored in some way, somehow? I don't think he can, but has he? But then this is where it gets interesting though, and this is where we go back to Natalie, because you see, this is something else that I also had to ask the question, okay? Can you sponsor an asylum seeker in the US? That's the question I asked. This is the question, this is the answer that I got. What is Welcome Corps? Welcome Corps is a new private sponsorship program through which everyday Americans will be able to privately sponsor refugees from other world for resettlement in the United States, which makes me wonder. So if this is a little program that's going on, maybe Michael has been working this little program to get Natalie's mom to the US, but that's not just it though. At the same time, and let me just move out of the way real quick so you can see exactly what I'm reading here, because we all know my readings are atrocious. Can an asylum seeker invite someone to the US? And it says here, if you are granted asylum, you may petition to bring your spouse and children to the United States by filing a form of I-730, okay, refugee asylee relative petition. So there is that possibility where this one could be, but there's always a catch. There's always a catch. Let me move on to this one here itself in particular. How much does it cost for a refuge in the US? As you can see, sponsors groups of at least 5 people will be expected to raise a minimum of $2,275 per refugee to cover the cost of resettlement. Now, of course, right now we have no idea how Natalie's mom has ended up in the States. She may just be on a visitor's visa for all we know. It is a possibility, but then again, though, if she was there or just on a visitor's visa, I'm pretty sure she would have come to the States a very, very long time ago, to be honest with you. I'm not saying they're easy to get, but I'm pretty sure she would have come way back. So if you ask me, there's been a process that's been going on, a process that obviously has been very funky, and that process has definitely, in my opinion, involved Michael, because the timeline just doesn't make sense if you ask me personally. But hey, listen, everything that I'm saying here is all based on research that I've done to try and find out how Natalie's mom is now in the States, okay? So obviously everything that I'm saying is so alleged. None of this is actually factual per se, But I mean, the information that I'm giving you is facts, but how Natalie's mom is now in America, who knows? We're just trying to figure out, because obviously in my most recent video, I saw a lot of people asking the question, how is she finally here? Like, how is this going to work? All that kind of stuff, because it does not look like Natalie's mom is there just to visit. It looks like she's there to literally chill with her daughter. And that's where we're thinking, how is this possible? Because we know that she ain't married to nobody. We know she ain't working for no one, but usually you can get a long-term visa if you're marrying someone. You can get a long-term visa if you're going to get a job. And therefore, how else are you going to get a long-term visa? And we can only assume that it's either one through some sort of asylum seeker program. Well, it has to be that one, isn't it? Really and truly. The question is who's funding it, right? But hey, let me know what you're thinking down below. Just thought I'd make this quick little video for you guys, considering a lot of people are asking, how is this possible in the most recent video. So I thought I'd do the research and give you guys exactly what I found out, you know what I mean? If there's anything that I missed out that maybe that you know of, please do let me know in the comment section, and other people can also read and also see, what is the possibility here. But nonetheless, though, thank you so much for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.